And good Thursday evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night edition of Weather Warriors. I'm Chief Meteorologist Todd Warren here in the NBC6 Forecast Center. As today we did experience a rather soggy day in spots, although my homestead was pretty much missed. As you can see by my Tempest weather station, only 600s. But as I say, I'll take what I can get. You can see lots of clouds across the area right now. We do have some rain moving into Texarkana that I'll show you here in a second with Pinpoint Doppler. Here's what's coming up. Got a full slate for you tonight. Lots to talk about. Of course, we did see the scattered showers and thunder showers today with no severe weather. Small chance tomorrow, but the chance will continue through Monday, and I'll show you when that chance may be at its highest. Of course, we'll touch on whether or not we'll see any severe weather opportunities as we go through, especially this weekend. Once the rain exits, it's going to give way to plenty of heat, and it looks like that heat is here to stay, as we'll take you out and show you the next 2 weeks. Once we hit the 90s, we're going to stay there. I'll just tell you that right now. And of course, today is Thursday. That means it's Drought Monitor Day. I'll show you the latest Drought Monitor, compare it to last week, show you where we did see just a little bit of improvement. And of course, tonight being Thursday, that means it's Grain of Salt Night. And as I've teased before earlier this afternoon on my Facebook page, you're not going to like it. I'm just telling you, you're not going to like it. And I'll have the details on what we could be facing here in the next 6 weeks. If you're watching on the KTAL Now app, thanks for watching. If you're watching on my Facebook page, have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away. Even if you just want to say hello, Todd, right, that's great too. As you can see, Brian is usually the first one to say hello, and that is no exception tonight. So let's see who else is tuning in here. Let's see, Brian is first. Nita, hello to you. Hopefully you had a decent amount of rain today in your neck of the woods there in Titus County. Brad there in WCOK, hello to you. Let me know how much rain you got today, Brad, if you got any. Rusty, good evening to you. 3/4 of an inch of rain there near the Walter B. Jacobs Nature Center near Blanchard, Louisiana. Hello there, Rusty. That's a lot more than I did. I had one cell pop up right over me, drop a quick 4 or 500ths, and that was it. Everything else went all around. So again, I'm not complaining. I'm happy with that 600s. Anyway, so let's first of all show you, I mentioned the threat of severe weather. Really not too concerned at this point. You can see both the GFS and Europeans say that the atmosphere above us may support an isolated severe storm, but it really doesn't look like we'll see much as far as any widespread issues with severe weather. And if we do have any issues, it will come from wind. And based on that, and based on the fact that we really don't have any more storms once we get past Monday, or even the opportunity of them, I'm going to put lower. I told you last night, if it didn't look more certain that we would have at least a better chance, that I would lower my opinion on at least my worry level, if you will, to 2 out instead of 3. Yesterday I had a 3 because there's it's still a bit of a chance we could see a few renegade severe storms. And now I really kind of doubt we'll see much. If we have a few strong storms, maybe a few gusts of 30 to 40, but I think we'll avoid the 60-mile-per-hour gusts. And it doesn't look like hail is going to be an issue, and certainly no issues with tornadoes. Let's see who else has chimed in here. Let's see, Lewis has chimed in and says, good evening. I'm glad you got that rain there, Lewis. Someone else in Texarkana, I think it was Donnell, said on my Facebook page that he had a nice rain. I told him the Texarkana rain button was working today, so good for you. Betty up there in Union County, hello to you. Betty says she got 2/10 of an inch of rain in her rain gauge today. Christopher is here live tonight. Usually he watches it after in Mount Pleasant, Texas. Long time no see, Christopher. Yes. It's never a good thing to get off of work because of contamination. Hopefully you're doing okay. Your La Crosse weather station picked up 8,200ths of an inch of rainfall. Well, again, you were one of the lucky ones there, Christopher. Eric says it's now 77 degrees in Colbert, Oklahoma, west of the Arklatex. And sorry for the loss there, Eric. Who else is chiming in? There's Donnell. Donnell, still raining in Texarkana, and he's loving it. I'm glad you're happy there, Donnell. Mary, hello to you. And look who is here. You know what, Gary? I thought of you just before I went on. And I said, Chris tuned in and last night from Ohio, and I didn't talk about her numbers. And I said, I got to make a point when someone out of state tunes in, I got to tell them, at least their numbers. I said, I bet Gary chimes in tonight. And there you are, Norm. Gary is here. Uh, for those watching on the KTL Now app, we call Gary Norm because he's the norm of our live updates here. He occasionally tunes in from Palm Springs, California. Uh, got to a low of 106 today. in Palm Springs. Yuck. Brad says he only got just a light shower. Hopefully he avoided the frogs today there, Brad. David says you finally got some rain in Doddridge, 1.4 inches. Look, good for you, David. I knew eventually you'd get some, and you got a lot more than I did, as I keep mentioning. Oh, happy birthday, Nita. Saturday is Nita's birthday, so everyone tell Nita happy birthday, and that's my gift to you. No severe weather on Saturday. Nita, Gary, hello to you. Barbara, hello to you. Aaron, greetings to you. Okay, I do have a lot to talk about, so let me get going here. And you can see, first of all, loop of pinpoint Doppler. We do have some rain moving into Texarkana right now. It is weakening, so don't expect a whole lot more. You can see the heavier downpours further to the west will soon move into DeKalb. And those two are weakening. Got some rain, which, again, on the Shreveport side of the metro area, pretty good downpour here north of Wascom that is headed up towards Caddo Lake. And again, all this, as you can see, is weakening since the sun has gone down, and that's probably going to continue during the next couple of hours. Highs today made it to 85 in Shreveport, 83 in Texarkana, a far cry from Gary's low of 106. Those days are coming up here, Gary. Hint, hint on the grain of salt forecast. All right, let's see. Current weather pattern. We do have the upper level ridging here, but this is the upper level weakness, which is going to move to our northwest here. And that's what's going to, after a relatively dry day tomorrow, give us our next chance for some rain this weekend. Take a look at the surface map here during the next 4 days. You can see, as is usually the case this time of year, it's hard to get a cold front this far to the south. Fronts aren't going to make it here. We're going to have to rely on the upper level disturbances to bring us the rain probably for the next couple of months. And you can see the rain out in Texas with that upper level disturbance approaching, probably more concentrated and more widespread to our northwest on both Saturday and Sunday, although we will see the scattered activity across the area. It really relatively quiet weather across most of the country. The main threat for any severe weather, as we get to grain of salt time, you'll see this, will remain well to the north of the Arklatex here this weekend and into the beginning of next week. And you can see that front. Sarah up there in Brooklyn may see a little bit of a cool down heading into the beginning of next week, but that's not going to help us much, as that front, again, to the north is going to stay to our north. All right, let's, before we get to the models, who else has chimed in here? Christopher says, I talked about that the last couple of nights. Well, there's not a whole lot of agreement. The European is starting to get a little bit more consistent on location. I'll talk about that when I get to the tropics, Christopher. Donnell says, happy birthday to Nita. And Nita says, you're welcome. If you were talking to me there, Anita. Christopher, center is a little bit cool, to your point there at times. Christopher, as I keep mentioning, I think the Texarkana sensor is a bit off on the hot side. We'll see. And all right, so there he goes. All right, let's take a look at the HRRR model, and you can see that the what's left of the rain falling apart here in the next couple of hours, as we will probably see a mostly cloudy sky for most of the nighttime hours tonight. The low clouds, if we do clear out a little bit, the low clouds will fill back in late tonight. Let's take Robin's story of Futurecast through the next 4 days, and you can see if we see any rain tomorrow, the chance will be highest in east to northeast Texas, basically the western half of the area. I don't think we'll see anything in Shreveport, probably not in Texarkana either tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we'll see a mostly cloudy sky. Going through Saturday, Futurecast, this run is a little bit more optimistic on the scattered showers and thunderstorms, but you can see not the coverage that we've experienced today. We will see that activity once we cool down and Saturday evening and Saturday night. And then going through Sunday, we will see, again, Futurecast more pessimistic now for Sunday, keeping all the showers and thunderstorms, more widespread stuff to the north. We'll see a mostly cloudy sky on Sunday night, and Monday, a very small chance for the spotty shower as we'll start to heat up as that disturbance moves out, the ridging moves in. We'll see temperatures Monday probably back up pretty close to 90 degrees. Now, I mentioned the severe weather lack or the lack thereof here in the Arklatex. Show you Futurecast here. This shows all the gusts. They just keeps piling them on. Doesn't erase any. So this is 4 days worth of gusts of at least 35 miles per hour, and you can see none here in the Arklatex. As far as hail, you can see that Futurecast shows, as you might expect, none. And in fact, really not a whole lot of hail anywhere. As you can see here, zooming out, it does look like the stronger storms will stay to the west and northwest of us this weekend, closer to the path of that upper level disturbance. All right, let's before we get into grain of salt time, let's see who else has chimed in here. Gary says, "Yes, Gary, Mr. Humidity is here. He's gone. He's back from his winter hiatus." And is here for the summer. This is his summer home. So he is here and he's not going anywhere. I can give him a ticket to Palm Springs if you want. Brad says, happy birthday to Nita as well. All right. Nita says, thank you. Christopher points out to Gary that his favorite tight end is soon to be tying the knot. All right, so it won't be long. We'll be talking about the Chiefs more often, and Gary will be coming in here and bragging about his Chiefs again, I assume. All right, let's move ahead and take a look at the next couple of weeks. Grain of salt time. Whenever we talk past a week, you got to take it with a grain of salt because it does tend to change some. Here's week one, and you can see that the best chance for severe weather tomorrow to our north. Same thing for the most part, northern parts of the country here for Saturday. You can see the upper level disturbance moving into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. It moves to the north of us on Sunday. And the European also a little bit more pessimistic than it has been on the rain Sunday. Then the ridge begins to build in. This model is probably the most optimistic as far as rain for us on Monday. And you can see that ridge kind of centered from Texas on up towards Chicago by the last half of next week. This upper level trough last night, the European showed it going over the top of the ridge, and it looks like that's still going to happen. There is another weakness in the Gulf. I'll talk more about that here in a second when we get to the tropics. And it does look like, if you compare week one to week two, most of the rain that you're going to see in the 2-week rainfall outlook is going to come in week two. And here's why. You can see heading into the middle part, basically almost 2 weeks from today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're talking days 12, 13, 14. You can see the more widespread showers and thunderstorms. Now, again, grain of salt here. This very well could change, probably will some, but it does look more optimistic as we move past the middle of the month that we could see another uptick in the scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. So let's take a look at rainfall potential here moving forward, and you can see that WPC indicates that most of the area, less than a half an inch now, from now through next Thursday. Still that possibility of the inch over the northern edge of the area. Let's take you out 10 days. This is from the blend of models. And the model blend also very pessimistic, showing almost all of the area, at least East Texas, Northwest Louisiana, right around a half an inch. Again, an inch, inch and a half northern edge of the area. It does look like we could see some rain move back in by the end of next weekend. Some models are indicating. So once it ends Monday, we'll have several days of hot, dry weather. And then late next weekend, some rain is looking to be a slim possibility at this point. Take you out 2 weeks here. And the only place where the models are consistent is in DeQueen. You can see the agreement here right around 3 inches. Notice a little bit more disparity between the models in Texarkana, especially in Shreveport, as well as in Natchitoches. So it does look more promising up towards DeQueen that you'll get, 2 or 3 inches in the next couple of weeks. But notice in Shreveport and Natchitoches, the GFS, barely an inch. So It looks like, again, about in a 10-day period, an inch and a half is normal. 2-week period, about 2¼ inches. So much of the area, if not most, will see below normal rainfall, not only for the next week, but for the next 2 weeks, if you add it all up, which is not good, obviously, when you're heading into the heat of summer. Christopher says his weather dreams have stopped. Maybe that's a sign we're not going to have any more rain coming, Christopher. All right, let's take a look at the tropics here, and you can see that the National Hurricane Center is still watching these areas. These percentages are the chances that they put that we'll see a depression form in the next week, and you can see those chances are going up. Nothing here in the Gulf and the Caribbean. I have it zoomed in because this is the part in June and July where we typically see, if we have any development in the Atlantic Basin, this is where it more than likely is. Let's take a look at the GFS and the European for the next 2 weeks, and you can see the Pacific development there. Watch this area here. You can see that moves up towards Florida during the last half of next week. There's going to be another one which forms right there and moves up towards Florida. So the GFS is tracking these little waves into the eastern half of the Gulf. Here is the European model. You might recall last night, I mentioned last night, the night before, the European had it moving towards Florida. Last night, it shifted it more into the western Gulf. And again, we're talking almost 2 weeks out. There it is right there, right in here. So it does develop it, next weekend maybe, over somewhere here in the central Gulf and sends it to the north. But there's a pretty good plume of tropical moisture that may get fed further to the northeast, which could include parts of Louisiana. So this is going to be something worth watching. As I mentioned last night, are we going to see, is it definite we're going to have a depression in a couple weeks? No, probably not actually, but still it is a possibility that we have to be aware of. And after that, we're pretty much going to be quiet, it looks like, as we move into the last half of June. All right, let's talk temperatures here. And while Gary's waiting, I do have his temperatures right here. Gary, you said your low this morning was 106. You sure that wasn't the high? That sounds a bit high for a low. Anyway, this is showing 110 for you tomorrow. Your hottest day will be next weekend, Sunday, Monday, the 14th and 15th, 115. For those here in the Arklatex, don't you just want to move to the desert? You can see the lows at night. You'll be in the 60s early next week, and then the warmest night, 81 on the 15th. So lows mainly in the 70s, highs. You'll cool down to 100 next Tuesday, Gary. And is Gary going to have all goose eggs? Let's see if Gary is going to have all goose eggs. Yep, no rain for Gary. Sorry about that, Gary. All right, let's see who else has chimed in before I talk temperatures here. Let's see. I got to go back to this one. I'm still getting used to the new comments. Afternoon pop-ups, that's probably going to be what we're looking at here. Again, probably not for you tomorrow. Probably not even Saturday or Sunday that much. Most of the rain will miss you to the west, Betty. And then following that, it is going to be basically a good week before they will return. Here's the story on the temperatures, and you can see the cool down probably staying in the mid to upper 80s through Sunday, 90 by Monday. And then the European models have us settling right around 92, 93 for a good solid 10 days. Lows pretty much settle into the middle 70s and stay there. That shows Mr. Humidity's influence on the nighttime lows. The GFS ensembles, as they have been running recently, are once again a bit hotter, especially Saturday. But you can see they have us in the mid to even upper 90s. I don't think we'll make it to 97 during the last half of next week. But you can see the agreement here on the nighttime lows, with the lows in the middle 70s. No 60s. This 69 tonight may be it for a while in the 60s. Usually we go in the summer a good 30 to 60 days without dropping below 70. So we'll see if this is the beginning of that. All right, let's move on and talk drought. This is the rain for the last week. You can see these areas of yellow. That's where pinpoint Doppler shows at least 2 inches, a pretty good swath of almost 5 north of Fouke there. And there's someone in Doddridge piped in and said they got an inch today. There it is. take you into the southern part of the Arklatex, and you can see numerous areas where 2, 3, 4 inches of rain fell during the past week. So after seeing that, here is last week's drought monitor, and I'm going to fade on this week's drought monitor. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the improvement here over the far eastern sections of the Arklatex. So again, a little bit of improvement here in north central Louisiana, and that's pretty much the only place, southeastern Arkansas, that's about the only place where we did see much improvement in the drought conditions based on the rain that fell from last Tuesday to this Tuesday. So what do we have going forward? It's grain of salt 6-week outlook time, and you can see that this is what the European ensembles from now through July 19th show that we could see as far as total rainfall during that next 6-week period. For Shreveport during the upcoming 6 weeks, a little bit less than 5.5 inches is normal. You can see right around 5 in Idabel and DeQueen. As you head south, the amounts drop. So it does look like we could see some below normal rainfall here for the next 6 weeks. Of course, that means we're heading into summer, drier, and that means we get hotter. And you can see the nighttime lows. Again, the length of the bar, this line is the normal low for that particular week on average. And you can see that we will be next couple of weeks near or slightly above normal, the next 3 weeks. And then we start to get quite a bit warmer. Average low, this is the average low temperature. The week ending the 19th of July, 79. That's the average low, right? Take a look at the average highs. And this is why you're not going to like the grain of salt outlook. You can see low 90s for the next couple of weeks for average highs. Then we creep into the middle 90s as we close out June. And then that's a little bit above normal. This should say July 19th. I failed to change the dates on this graphic. But notice it says the week of July 19th, we could see an average high temperature of 100 degrees, which is 5 degrees above normal. And the fact that this is the last week is concerning. As I often say, these ensembles, the farther you go out, they tend to want to run back to normal. So it could be worse. Just saying, it could be worse. So this could be a sign of what's to come as we go into the worst part of summer, the last half of July and the first half of August. So that being said, one final look at the comments here before we get to the forecast. Gary says, Gary, you're quite welcome. 106 was his high today. Goose eggs for Gary. Yes. All right. Betty says thank you to Betty, or I should say Nita says thank you to Betty. Christopher says it's going to be humid. You know, we're especially early in this period when we get the rain. As we go longer without rain, as we found out in 2011, we tend to see the dew points don't manage to get that high, which allows temperatures to get warmer. So it's like a vicious cycle. Betty says thank you. Exactly. Get ready for the summer electric bills. They're coming, Betty. And it's not going to be anything. Someone asked me that question last night, Christopher. You may have seen it if you watched it back. I don't think it's going to be as bad. We're going to have some hot temperatures. I think we'll top 105 at one point in Shreveport this summer. I think that's a pretty good bet. And there's Brad looking for his frogs. All right, let's take a look at the forecast for, first of all, tonight. And you can see that we will see a mostly cloudy sky. The rain already wrapping up. 69 degrees for the low temperature in Texarkana as well as in Atlanta. 69, 70 for the low temperature in Shreveport, 67 in Natchitoches. And then as we go into tomorrow, mostly cloudy. It will be warmer. 87 in Texarkana, 85 in Mount Pleasant, 88 in Atlanta, and in Shreveport, right around 87, 88, 89 degrees for the high temperature in Natchitoches. And your 10-day forecast shows a better shot for those scattered showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. Again, if you're just tuning in, not too concerned about severe weather. Then next week, it looks dry, it looks hot, lows in the mid-90s, lows in the mid-70s, highs in the low to middle 90s. We will see another maybe slight chance of rain as we look ahead to next Sunday. It is getting very late, so it's time for me to send you off. But before I go, of course, I have to let you go with my attempt at a little bit of humor. So someone once asked me if I have time to spell wonton backwards. I responded, not now. And that will officially do it for me tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in as always. I do appreciate you watching on the KTAL Now app, and of course everyone watching on my Facebook page, Todd Born Weather. Of course, I won't be doing this tomorrow night. I'll be back Monday with another live update. Of course, latest on the tropics maybe we'll be watching for, and the latest on next week's heat. So until then, have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and stay dry. Good night.